What's up, wrestling fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, the co-host of the Wayback WrestleMania podcast. Here with a triple action figure unboxing of the Elite WrestleMania Macho King Randy Savage, the Elite WrestleMania Dusty Rhodes, and the Ultimate Edition Series 16 figure of Razor Ramon. I recently went on a road trip where I found all three of these figures at Squared Circle Collectibles, located at 3343 Valley Pike, number 100 in Winchester, Virginia. At Squared Circle Collectibles, you'll find a wide variety of replica belts, autographed items, and of course, action figures from companies like WWE, AEW, and Ring of Honor. Make sure to check out Squared Circle Collectibles on Facebook and stop by the store the next time that you're in Winchester, Virginia. I also want to send a shout out to my brother who gave me some birthday funds, and that allowed me to get these three figures on my visit to Squared Circle Collectibles during my recent road trip to Winchester, Virginia. And with no further ado, let's take a closer look at the packaging details of these three figures. Here's a look at the back of the packages. Macho King and Dusty Rhodes are part of the Mean Gene Okerlund Build-A-Figure wave. Macho Man comes with Mean Gene's head, and Dusty comes with Mean Gene's torso. And as an Ultimate Edition figure, Razor Ramon comes with a plenitude of accessories, including the Intercontinental Championship title belt. And now it's time to bust these figures out of the packages and see what's inside. And here's the American Dream out of the package and ready to rumble. This is one of the best Dusty Rhodes figures ever made, although I do have a couple of minor criticisms. So let's take a closer look at the loose details now. Let's have a look at the lower body now, and this is very accurate to Dusty's attire for WrestleMania 6. That was the mixed tag match. Here are the cowboy-style boots. I really appreciate the paint applications on these. These knee pads are separate pieces. I really appreciate the paint applications on those, as well as the paint that's used to represent the wraps that were under the knees for WrestleMania 6. The musculature on the legs is accurate. I really appreciate that. I've seen a lot of Dusty figures with bad lower bodies. The t-shirt is held together here with this piece of Velcro, and it is easy to just slip off. You can see Dusty's birthmark represented here, and I appreciate the attention to detail. In terms of articulation, the waist pivots back and forth. He crunches forward that much and rocks back that much. He has the quadriceps swivel, double jointed knees that are somewhat limited by the knee pads. It's helpful to move those. He has the ankle pivoting. The hip articulation is somewhat disappointing. He can only kick forward that much. He really doesn't step back, although you can get him into this much of a split, so I would say that is adequate. In terms of the arm articulation, he has movement here at the wrist. You can see the rotation there. It's on a hinged peg, so it moves back and forth. The figure comes with interchangeable hands, and here he is with both gripping hands. And here is the figure with both pointing hands. Both arms feature the bicep swivel. He also has double jointed elbows, which is very helpful in getting him into the pose for the bionic elbow. And there's also 360 degrees of shoulder rotation. Let's have a look at the head sculpt now, and there's a lot to like here, although I don't think it's perfect. I really do like the expression. That's very accurate to Dusty, although I think there's something wrong with the eyes. They're just a little off in terms of their shape. As Dusty got older, he kept his hair shorter, so I think the representation is accurate here as well. In addition to the side-to-side and up-and-down motion, you can get the head to tilt, and I always appreciate that because it gives the figure a little bit of emotion. And now let's have a look at the Macho King. And here we see wrestling royalty. It is the Macho King, Randy Savage, out of the package with scepter held high. This figure is very colorful, and there are many more positive aspects than negative ones, but I do have a couple of complaints, so let's take a closer look at the loose details now. Here's a closer look at Randy Savage, and the details on this figure are amazing. There were so many colors on his tights at WrestleMania 6, and for the most part, I think Mattel did an excellent job at capturing those here. There are wrinkles sculpted into the boots. They look very realistic. Overall, the musculature looks accurate to Macho Man as well. You can see all of the sculpting here on the biceps and triceps as well as the deltoids. There's superb sculpting on the latissimus dorsi. And the sculpting even on the backs of the boots, very intricate, and the paint applications are very exact. The figure comes with 4 accessories: the scepter, the crown, and these 2 alternate hands. Actually, I should say 5 accessories because these sunglasses are removable. And Mattel did an excellent job at capturing that crazed look that Savage would have when he was a heel. The crown is spectacular, although it doesn't just pop onto his head. It's rubber, and you really have to work with it to get it to set on his head properly. I really appreciate this metallic gold paint and all of the sculpting on the scepter. I think that the end of the scepter and the jewel in the crown are a shade lighter than they should be, but that's a very minor criticism. Here is the figure with both of the gripping hands. And here's the Macho King with both of the pointing hands. The figure has swiveling at the top of the boots. There's plenty of ankle pivoting. You can get the ankles to move back, so if you want to have Savage on a flight stand for a leaping pose, you do have that option. He has double jointed knees, so you have the option of putting him in a good-looking running pose. He has the quadriceps swivel, which helps with posing, but that also means that the paint on the tights no longer lines up. He kicks forward about this far, so I think that's satisfactory. He steps back more than I thought he would be able to, so I was very pleased in that area. And you can get the legs to go out this far to the side, so that gives you the option of a deep side-kicking pose. The figure pivots at the waist. You can get him to crunch forward that much and rock back that far, so that's certainly helpful if you're doing the flying elbow pose. He has the standard Elite Series rotation at the wrists. He has the bicep swivel. You can get his arm to raise up from his side that much. You can get the shoulder joint to do a 360. And you can get his arms to rock out and back this much for the big power pose. As I said previously, I am very impressed with this head sculpt. The nose looks good. The paint applications on the beard are well executed. The hair is realistic. You can see the individual strands back here. In terms of articulation, you can get him to look side to side with relative ease. The hair limits the figure's ability to look up to a degree, although he has a substantial amount of head tilting. Now it's time to have a look at the bad guy. Before the Outsiders invaded WCW, he was Razor Ramon. and his feud for the Intercontinental title in the early to mid-90s with Shawn Michaels is still one of my favorite programs. This figure is stunning, and it features a myriad of accessories, so let's get a closer look at the loose details now. These Ultimate Edition figures are next level, and this one is no exception. This figure features 3 different head sculpts, and although I like all 3, my favorite is this one. This sneer is very indicative of Razor Ramon's personality. There is also this smiling head sculpt, and I think all 3 of these capture Scott Hall's likeness very well. When you pop the head off of the dumbbell joint, you can remove the chains. And I'm going to remove this little protective piece of paper. And these chains look very realistic. The vest is also easily removable. As you can see, this figure features butterfly joints. And that made the vest easy to slip off of the arms. The vest is very pliable, and I appreciate the fact that the stamp is on the inside. And I'll talk more about articulation later, but these butterfly joints are spectacular. Here's a closer look at the lower body. You can see all of this superb sculpting here on the boots. The legs could be a little bit more defined, but I've got to say this gold paint on the knee pads is really eye-catching. There's a little bit of roughness over here, but I really appreciate this gold paint on the figure. Here it is on the back of the trunks, very glossy and reflective. The chest hair has also been executed well. Often when I see chest hair on figures, it's either overdone and it looks like a rug, or it's been painted on and it just doesn't look realistic, but that's not the case here. My only criticism visually is I think the arms might be a little on the thin side. The articulation is astounding. You can see the ankle pivoting here. You can see how far back the ankle moves. He has the midfoot hinge. The top of the boot swivels around. He has the double jointed knees, but the hips are very flexible, as you can see. They allow a much greater degree of articulation than a lot of the elite figures. You can get the figure to step back to a great degree, and you can see here just how far forward and up you can get the figure to kick, and you can get the figure into a full split. Much like the elites, there's rotation here at the wrist, and you can get the wrist to move backward and forward. The elbow pad slides down, and he has double jointed elbows, so you can certainly get him into a good elbow dropping pose. He has the bicep swivel. The arms go up to the side this far. And once again, you can see just how well that butterfly joint works. I really appreciate those. The waist pivots back and forth easily, and you can see just how far forward you can get him to crunch and how far back you can get him to rock. The head moves side to side easily. You can get him to look up. You can get him to look down. And there is some head tilting here, and I really appreciate that. Here's a look at the various accessories. We have the hands with the extended thumbs. We have the set of fists. And we have the completely relaxed palms. It's a total of 6 alternate hands. But the accessory that catches my eye, and probably yours as well, that is this Intercontinental Championship belt. And this metallic paint is gorgeous. And you can see just how well this has been sculpted. Here's a reverse view of this belt. This accessory is absolutely gorgeous. And here is a look at Razor Ramon with each alternate set of hands. And again, all of these are crafted extremely well. And here he is with that gorgeous Intercontinental title belt accessory. I'm very thankful for that. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Way Back Wrestling Mania podcast, and that's part of Multiverse Musings, the vidcast, which is available right here on YouTube. And I'll be back with more pro wrestling related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.